So this video is going to help somebody out there that's codependent on another person's approval of them. You know, that they want, say, credit in that person's account so that they can validate their existence. This a lot of people deal with this. A son or a daughter wants the approval of their father. It could be a grandparent, it could be a sibling, it could be a friend. But it's always somebody, and they're always waiting for that person to approve of them so that they can feel better about themselves. This is dangerous. This is very dangerous. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to be free. Ultimately, you never want to give anybody that much leverage and power over your life. It's because humans are faulty by nature, and it's also because people have agendas, and when I say faulty, they can be utilized by spiritual forces that have an agenda or an assignment on your life. And maybe you're called to be an actor, just as an example, or a politician, or this or that, and you share your dream with that person that you feel validates you feel like brings so much leverage to the table, and you've yielded over your existence or your identity over to this person, and they kind of call the shots in your life. That is so dangerous. I think that we've all been there before at one time or another, one point or another. I think that we've all been there, because as you grow up, you have no leverage, you have no power, you have no identity, and somebody's giving that to you when you're growing up. And whoever that may be, you rely on that person more and more. What's dangerous is that when that person has the power and they wield it viciously or arrogantly, or from a dark way measure. So it's like if they hold the hammer, so to speak, and they're wielding it against you, it can break you, it can smash you. I'm very much against giving anybody, any human being, this much leverage. It doesn't matter if we're talking about marriage or children, or we're talking about mothers or fathers. Jesus told it to us like this in the Bible. He said, if you can't love anybody more than me, or you're not worthy of me. The only one that I would give that much leverage to, that much power over my being, is Jesus Christ. See, Jesus Christ could crush me if he wanted to, but thankfully that's not his character, and that's not the way he operates. But he can, because I've yielded over my soul to him, my heart to him, and my members to him, and I'm focused on him. The apple of my eye is on him. And so I've tried it with humans, right? I have a testimony, I have a story to tell, I have scars to point at and show you that that's not a good idea. But don't take it from me. There's countless testimonies out there of people that wielded over their existence, their life they forked it over to somebody else that they trusted, and I put that in quotation marks, only to then find out that this person didn't treat their heart right the way that they wished that they would have. In other words, they stepped on their heart, they crushed their heart, they broke their heart, they pierced their heart with either abandonment, rejection, or they didn't treat them the way with respect as they wanted them to, right? It usually there's a good way to look at it. It's like climbing a ladder, and this person is doing a lot for you, and they're there for you, and they're there for you, and with every time that they're there for you, you take a step higher in the ladder. So the higher you go with that person, the greater the fall when they're not there for you, kind of thing, right? I think that my personal view on the matter, my opinion on this, is that no human being is perfect. And because they're not perfect, they're not God. It's just a matter of time until they fail. Some people fail you on purpose. Other people fail you because they're humans. You throw somebody a ball, they might catch it, they might not. And if that ball matters a lot to you, it could be a dream of yours, it could be a vision, it could be relative to the place that you're at, and you want them to hear your feelings, and they didn't treat that moment sacred, and they dropped the ball. Well, what happens to you and your relationship with that person? Now you're scarred by that moment. You're carrying over insecurities, and that right there my friends, is something that happens to a lot of people. And they carry all these burdens and all these different types of events that happen to them behind the scenes. I trusted you. How could you? I can't believe you did that. I don't think that we were intended ever to do this with another human being. I think that we're supposed to love people. But if you ask me, love and trust are two different things. I can love you, but at the same time, I know that by your nature, like for example, this is something that will make sense to you. I am my own I am my own best friend. Like nobody wants the best for me more than me, right? And if I fail me from time to time, because I'm not perfect and I drop the ball from time to time, how can I expect somebody else to do a better job at loving me than I love me? That's a good way of putting it. And that's the way I look at it in that lens. So if I understand that I fail me from time to time, then why would I give somebody else the keys to my heart, the keys to my soul, the keys to knowing that if I fail me, how much more are they not going to fail me? And what's going to happen to me, right? Because I trusted and confided in them and I put all my weight on them. No, I much rather put all my weight and all my eggs in God's basket, love people, but understand that they're flawed by nature, and as a result have grace prepared for them when they do fall short, as opposed of how could you. I'll have like, well, I was kind of expecting you to fail because you're a human being, and here you go, here's the grace card, here's the forgiveness card, here's the love card coming out. Because to have this mindset that they're never gonna fail or this or that, you're setting yourself up, right? And so I'm big on boundaries. I think that everybody should have boundaries, right? In every type of relationship on earth, everybody should have boundaries to where they respect what is sacred about you, right? They can't change that. They can't have a hold of that. No, you set a mark, a boundary, and you say, look, I love you, right? Like if you're dying, I donate blood, I donate my organ for you and all of that. Like I love you. But this is a boundary right here that is not up for grabs. Like you can't have this part of me. You understand? This matters to me. This is important to me. And I'm not gonna just leave it there for people to sabotage it how they see fit. So as a result of you putting that boundary, you keep your identity. You haven't forsook it, you haven't donated it, you haven't given it away, you haven't tossed it. And I think that a lot of people do this in relationships. They want to love on the person more than they love themselves. You can't give something away that you don't have for yourself first. And I think that it's a big deal for people to represent themselves well and to understand what they bring to the table. And if somebody's getting with you for the first time, it's because of those qualities that they're getting with you. So why give that up later on in the relationship, right? If that's what attracted them in the first place. This happens to a lot of people. They lose themselves to the person that they're with because they want to please that other person, right? And they're putting so much emphasis on that other person to fulfill them. And it's not fair to the other person because they're not God. They will never be able to fulfill you. So rather than go into that area of looking at that person from that angle, right, that's not fair to them, look at them from a perspective that is based in reality and rooted in truth. And so a good way of starting off a relationship with somebody is just to bring out all your conditions and all your, just like my sister did this with a guy she was gonna date, and I really respected that on behalf of my sister, right? Like let's say you're a virgin, and like let's say that's not gonna that you're waiting for marriage and that you're not gonna budge on that. That's very admirable and that's very valuable and that's expensive, and I salute you. So then You bring that up in the very beginning of the relationship, but along with that, you bring up everything else that matters to you, right? Your family, like, hey, I'm a person that I bond with my family. If you don't like that, then hey, you should know this up front. Hey, I'm a person that, like, I love art. My creativity side of me is not up for grabs. I'm not gonna give up art or music or this or that. Like, you let that person know who you are, right? And I think that that is very key to starting off a relationship, with just setting it, the tone for what you bring to the table. Like what my sister did with the guy she was getting with, is she told him, this is all my baggage. I have 3 kids, going through the middle of a divorce. My ex-husband's a little crazy and he's always calling me, this, that, and the other. So she was telling the guy that was interested, all the baggage, everything that would make him want to run away from her. She was being upfront and honest about it. The guy didn't run. The guy stayed. The guy said, I respect you. I thank you for telling me. Because, maturity, yeah, when you're young, look, I'm not even going to go there. This guy was mature. This guy had already been married and divorced himself. This guy was older. This guy understood the context of life and everything like that. And he was prepared to take on this role in my sister's life. And he loved her, and, and everything. When he weighed it out on the scales, he said, you know what, I'm willing to take on that baggage, because to me, you're worth it. But I just think that people should know up front who you are and what you bring to the table, and let them decide whether or not they want to stick around or not, because that's just fair to everybody. The original intent of this video was to tell people never to pour yourself out into somebody else's cup, so to speak, to where you leave yourself dry for yourself. You should always have your relationship with your Father in heaven. That cup should always be full, and then you should pour out love to that person that you're with, whoever it may be. We could be talking about a spouse, we could be talking about girlfriend and boyfriend, or we could be talking about friend or whatever. Doesn't even matter. Because what you do want to do is you want to set the tone for keeping your life the way you want it to be, because it's your life. And you want the other person to be okay with that. But if they're not okay with that, you want to give them a heads up, so that they can leave if they want to leave. Because what happens is that the other person usually wants to control this person, take them away from everything that they know that they like, and this, that, and the other. And then what happens is that this person's miserable. They live a life of years and years with this person, and they're abusive and they're controlling and they're this, that, and the other. And it could have all been prevented. And you see these testimonies play out time and time again, and you can just spare yourself so much hardship and trouble if you just stay away from the toxicity. But my main advice here is this. This is just psychological. I've studied psychology, and I'm just one of those people. This is not a spiritual video, but this is just advice. And this advice is this: like, keep your soul. Don't sell your soul to somebody else. Does that make sense? And what I mean by that is that don't give somebody else so much leverage and power over you that if they were to flip the switch or pull back, you just fall and you shatter into a million pieces. Nobody should have that much power over you. God and only God. You should carry your identity, your purpose, your calling. This is for you. This is your life, and you should wield that power however you see fit, so that can be, that's your heart. That's what God created you for. If the person that you're with doesn't respect that, pray about it. They should respect that. Do you understand? They should respect that. So there's something off there if they don't respect that, right? Likewise, you should respect their boundaries and what they're interested in, etc. It's sacred for a person to be able to be themselves with what they want to do and be in their life without somebody else trying to grab it and tear it to pieces and tell that person no. That doesn't sound like God. That sounds like the devil. So we got to guard our heart, like the Bible says. We got to close doors, and we got to discern who's who and what's what. You're not supposed to spill your guts and tell people secrets and everybody. No. You're supposed to guard your heart, discern the spirits, discern who's who and what's what. Sometimes when you talk too much, you hear somebody else talking about what you told this person. You say, well, I didn't tell that person. I told you. Why'd you tell that person? Well, you told the wrong person. You understand? You have to discern. You have to be wise. You have to understand that humans are flawed by nature. So you got to understand that. That's why your Heavenly Father should be the choice of your life. To give everything to Him. Everything to Him. Because He's going to treat you well the way you wish everybody else would treat you. He's going to treat you that way. However much you give to Him in connection, that's how much you'll get back. And so then, understanding that every other relationship that you have with people, right, you have to be strategic about it. How much leverage do you want to give them? So think about that. God bless you guys.